Captain Jung Kim stood on the bridge of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon watching the alien space station grow larger on the main screen. His heart beat faster, but his face remained calm. This was a historic moment, the first meeting between humans and the Galactic Concord. "Status report," he said, his voice steady. "All systems normal, Captain," replied Sue, his first officer. "The Concord station has granted us docking permission." June nodded. After decades of sending signals into deep space, humanity had finally received an answer 3 years ago. The message came from the Galactic Concord, a group of 17 different alien species who shared the stars. Now the Horizon carried Earth's first diplomatic team to meet them. "Ambassador Park, are you ready?" June asked through the ship's comm system. "As ready as anyone can be to meet aliens for the first time," Ta Park answered with a small laugh. "My team is prepared." The Horizon docked with a soft bump. June took a deep breath. Everything they did now would shape humanity's future among the stars. Ambassador Ta Park led his team of 5 humans through the airlock. They wore their formal blue uniforms with the Earth United Nations emblem. The air in the station smelled clean but strange, like nothing on Earth. 3 aliens waited for them. The aliens stood on 2 legs, but that's where the similarity to humans ended. Their skin was pale blue with patterns of small bumps. They had 4 arms, each and large, dark eyes that took up most of their oval faces. "Greetings, humans of Earth," said the tallest alien. Its voice came through a small device on its chest. "I am Chief Diplomat Zoral of the Galactic Concord. We welcome you to Diplomatic Station 7. Ta bowed slightly. "Thank you for your welcome. I am Ambassador Ta Park of Earth. We bring greetings and friendship from all humans." The aliens made a gesture with their upper arms that Ta guessed was their version of a bow. "Please, follow us to the meeting chamber," said Zoral. "Many representatives wish to meet the famous Deathworlders." Ta frowned slightly. "Deathworlders?" Zoral's large eyes blinked. "Yes, your planet Earth is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. We were quite surprised to find intelligent life had evolved in such a hostile environment." As they walked through the station's wide hallways, Tai saw many different alien species. Some looked almost like plants, others like insects. All stopped to stare at the humans. "What makes Earth a death world?" Tai asked. "High gravity, extreme temperature variations, dangerous radiation levels from your sun, aggressive predators, powerful natural disasters." Zoral listed these as if reading a shopping list. Most Concord species evolved on worlds with much more stable conditions. In the large meeting chamber, representatives from all 17 Concord species waited. Some stayed far back from the humans, clearly nervous. "Please understand," Zoral explained. "You are the first sentient Deathworlders we have encountered. Your physical capabilities are concerning to some." A shorter alien stepped forward. "What Zoral means is that you could kill most of us with your bare hands if you wanted to." This alien had green skin with gold spots. "I am Science Director Meal. I've studied your transmissions. A human child could break my bones without effort." Ta smiled gently. "We have no intention of harming anyone. Humans value peace." Meal made a sound like bubbling water, which the translator device didn't catch. "Yet your history is full of war. We've worked hard to overcome our violent past," Tai explained. "Earth has been united and peaceful for 50 years. The meeting continued for hours. The Concord representatives asked endless questions about Earth, human biology, and society. They seemed especially interested in how humans handle danger and stress. "Your adrenal response is fascinating," said a plant-like alien. "The way your bodies prepare for fight or flight, in microseconds, we have nothing comparable." "Your pain tolerance is extraordinary," added another. "Most Concord species would lose consciousness from what humans consider minor injuries." Ta began to understand that in the wider galaxy, humans were considered extremely dangerous. It was not the welcome he had expected. Back on the Horizon Asterisk, Captain June listened to Ambassador Park's report. "So they think we're space monsters," June said with a hint of amusement. "They're cautious, not hostile," Tai corrected. "They've invited us to join the Concorde, but I sense they're also afraid of what humans might do in the galaxy." "Did they explain why they contacted us?" asked Sue. Ta nodded. "The Concorde is very old, over 10,000 years. Their policy is to contact any species that reaches a certain level of technology. They say it's better to bring new spacefaring races into the Concorde than risk conflict later." "Smart," said June. "What's our next step?" "They want to continue talks tomorrow. They're especially interested in our military capabilities, though they're trying not to be obvious about it." June frowned. "Should we be concerned?" "I don't think so. They seem peaceful, just cautious, I think." A loud alarm cut through the ship, making everyone jump. "Captain," called the communications officer. "We're receiving a distress signal from within this system." June rushed to the bridge, Tai following close behind. On the main screen, a message played. The alien speaking looked like Zoral's species, but its blue skin was now pale with fear. "This is Research Vessel Asterisk, Stellar Mind Asterisk, to any Concorde ships. We are under attack by Vorax forces. Our shields are failing. We have 12 researchers on board. Please help." The message repeated. June turned to his communications officer. "Contact the Concorde station. Tell them we've received this distress call and ask for information." Within minutes, Chief Diplomat Zoral appeared on the screen. Behind him, the Concorde station seemed to be in chaos. "Captain Kim, you received the distress call?" Zoral asked. "Yes. Who are the Vorax? How can we help?" Zoral's large eyes blinked rapidly. "The Vorax are a hostile hive mind species. They consume all organic matter in their path. They are not part of the Concorde." "And the research vessel? What help are you sending?" Zoral hesitated. "We are preparing an evacuation of this station. The Vorax don't usually come this far into Concorde space. Their presence here is very concerning." June frowned. "What about the researchers on the Stellar Mind Asterisk?" "We have recorded their final transmissions in our database," Zoral said quietly. "This is unfortunate. But you're abandoning them?" June asked, his voice rising. 12 of your people are still alive, calling for help, and you're running away." The alien diplomat seemed confused by June's reaction. "Captain Kim, the Vorax are extremely dangerous. Any rescue attempt would only result in more deaths." June looked at Ta, who nodded slightly. Then June made the decision that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. "Ambassador Zoral, please inform your station that the Earth vessel Horizon Asterisk is responding to the distress call. We will attempt to rescue the researchers." Zoral's translator device couldn't quite capture the sound he made, something between shock and disbelief. "That is suicide, Captain Kim. You don't understand what the Vorax are capable of." "And you don't understand what humans are capable of," June replied. "On Earth, we never ignore a distress call. It's our most sacred rule of space travel." June turned to his crew. "Battle stations. Prepare rescue teams. Sue, you have the bridge. I'm leading the rescue mission myself." Ta stepped forward. "Captain, as Earth's ambassador, I know what you're going to say, and the answer is no." June cut him off. "You're staying here." Ta smiled. "I was going to say, as Earth's ambassador, I need to join you. The Concorde needs to see what humans do when others are in danger." On the screen, Zoral was speaking quickly to other aliens off-camera. Finally, he turned back to June. "The Concorde Council has agreed to provide all information we have on the Vorax to your ship, but they want it noted that they advised against this action." "Noted," said June. "Send the information. We launch in 20 minutes." As the screen went dark, June looked at his bridge crew, all human faces, all showing the same determination. "The Concord thinks we're dangerous because we come from a harsh world," he said. "Today, we'll show them that surviving on a death world didn't just make us strong. It made us unwilling to let others die when we can help." As the Horizon broke away from the station and accelerated toward the distress signal, the Concord representatives watched in stunned silence. They had just witnessed something new in their long history. Deathworlders rushing into danger to save strangers. It would not be the last time. Commander Hae-Yum Lee stood in the Horizon's armory, helping her team prepare for the rescue mission. As the ship's tactical officer, she was responsible for the safety of everyone on this mission. "Listen up," she called, and the room fell silent. 20 human soldiers stopped what they were doing and turned to her. "The Concord has sent us information about the Voraks. They are not like us. They are a hive mind. Many bodies controlled by one mind. They don't feel fear. They don't feel pain. They exist only to feed and grow." She tapped a button on her wrist device, and a hologram appeared in the center of the armory. It showed a creature that looked like a cross between an insect and a lizard. It had 6 legs, sharp claws, and rows of teeth that filled its wide mouth. "This is a Voraks worker. They're about 1 meter tall. Their skin is tough. Standard bullets won't stop them. Use the pulse rifles. Aim for the head or the center of the chest." She swiped, and the hologram changed to show a larger creature with 4 arms. "This is a Voraks commander. They're smarter and stronger. If you see one, call for backup immediately. Do not engage alone." Captain Jun entered the armory, now wearing combat armor. Behind him walked Jai Choi, the ship's xenobiologist. "Commander Lee, what's our plan?" asked Jun. Hae-Yum pointed to a map of the research vessel. "The distress signal comes from the main lab here. The Concord says there were 12 researchers on board. According to the ship's layout, they're likely trapped in this section. We'll dock here, enter through the emergency airlock, and move directly to the lab." Jai stepped forward. "Captain, I've been studying the Concord species. The researchers on that ship are mostly Trellin and Vasic. Both species are physically fragile compared to humans. They cannot run fast or survive injuries that would be minor to us. So we'll need to protect them, and possibly carry them." Jun nodded. "Can they breathe our air?" "Yes, but they might find it uncomfortably oxygen-rich. They won't die from it, though." Jun turned to address the whole team. "Our mission is simple. Get in, find the survivors, get out. The Concord thinks this is suicide. Let's prove them wrong." On the Concord station, Ambassador Topark stood with the alien representatives, watching the mission unfold through the cameras on the human soldiers' helmets. A large screen showed multiple views as the Horizon approached the damaged research vessel. "I still do not understand," said Zoril, the blue-skinned diplomat. "Why risk 21 human lives for 12 strangers you've never met? The math makes no sense." Ta smiled slightly. "It's not about math. It's about who we are." Science Director Meal moved closer to the screen, his gold-spotted skin reflecting the light. "Fascinating. Their heart rates are elevated, but within normal parameters. They're afraid, yet they continue." "Of course we're afraid," Ta said. "Only fools feel no fear when facing danger. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite being afraid." The aliens exchanged glances, clearly trying to understand this concept. On the screen, the Horizon docked with the research vessel. The rescue team lined up at the airlock, weapons ready. "They're going in," Ta said quietly. "Now you'll see what humans do." The airlock opened with a hiss, and Captain Jun led his team into the dark corridor of the research vessel. The air smelled wrong, a sickly sweet smell that made him want to gag. "Lights on," he ordered, and 20 helmet lights cut through the darkness. The corridor walls were covered with a strange, shiny substance that looked like a cross between slime and metal. "Voraks secretion," explained Jai through the comm system. "They use it to convert ships for their own needs." "Stay alert," Hae-Yum warned. motion sensors active. They moved forward slowly, checking each room they passed. The ship was eerily quiet. Life signs? June asked. Detecting multiple signatures ahead, replied Sue from the asterisk horizon asterisk. Some match Concord patterns. Others are different. Likely Vorax. They reached a junction where 3 corridors met. Hei-yun raised her hand, signaling the team to stop. Her motion sensor was blinking rapidly. Movement ahead. Multiple targets. June nodded. Team 1 with me. Straight ahead. Team 2 with Commander Lee. Take the left corridor. Team 3, guard our exit. Remember, we need to find the survivors. Just as they started to move, a high-pitched sound echoed through the ship. It hurt their ears even through their helmets. They know we're here, Hei-yun said. From the darkness ahead, shapes began to move. The Vorax workers were even more terrifying in person, their movements jerky but fast, their eyes glowing a sickly yellow in the darkness. Hold position, June ordered. Fire only if they charge. As if hearing his words, the Vorax suddenly rushed forward. The corridor filled with the sound of pulse rifles. Blue energy bolts hit the aliens, making them screech in pain. But they kept coming. Fall back to the junction, June yelled. Controlled retreat. The humans moved backward, still firing. 3 Vorax fell, but more appeared behind them. Captain, called a soldier named June. The left corridor is clear. I see a sealed door ahead with Concord markings. Team 2, check that door, June ordered. Team 1, covering fire. Hei-yun led Team 2 down the left corridor, while June and Team 1 held off the Vorax. The aliens were getting closer, their claws scratching against the metal floor. Captain, we found them. Hei-yun's voice came through the comm. 12 Concord researchers, alive but scared. The door is locked from inside. Tell them we're human rescuers from the asterisk horizon asterisk, Jun said, firing another shot. Get that door open. It took precious minutes for the researchers to trust the humans enough to open the door. By then, the Vorax had nearly reached Jun's position. We can't hold much longer, he warned. Doors open, Hei-yun reported, but the researchers can barely walk. They're weak from hiding. We'll carry them, Jun decided. Team 1, fall back to Team 2's position. Team 3, prepare for evacuation. The human soldiers retreated down the left corridor, still firing at the pursuing Vorax. When they reached the researchers, they saw 12 aliens of various species, all looking terrified and exhausted. We're here to take you home, Jun told them. Some of you will need to be carried. Please don't be afraid. The researchers were too weak to protest as the human soldiers gently lifted them. Each soldier carried 1 alien, leaving enough team members free to provide covering fire. Back to the ship, move, Jun ordered. The retreat to the asterisk horizon asterisk was chaotic. The Vorax pursued them relentlessly, seeming to grow angrier as their prey escaped. Hei-yun and her team set up a defensive position at each junction, allowing the soldiers carrying researchers to pass before falling back. Just as they reached the airlock, a larger Vorax appeared. A commander, twice the size of the workers. It roared, a sound that made the researchers tremble in fear. Go, get them to the ship, Jun ordered, turning to face the commander. Hei-yun and 2 other soldiers stayed with him. The Vorax commander charged. It was faster and smarter than the workers, dodging their first shots. Its claws slashed through the air, missing Jun's chest by centimeters. Hei-yun fired directly at its head, making it screech in pain. It turned toward her, giving Jun the opening he needed. He fired 3 rapid shots into the center of its chest. The creature fell, its body twitching. Captain, all researchers are aboard the asterisk horizon asterisk, came Sue's voice through the comm. Fall back, Jun ordered, and the remaining soldiers retreated through the airlock. As soon as they were aboard, the asterisk horizon asterisk detached from the research vessel. Through the viewport, they watched as more Vorax poured out onto the hull of the research ship, reaching hopelessly toward the escaping humans. On the Concord station, silence filled the room as the aliens watched the humans return with all 12 researchers alive. Ambassador Ta could see the shock on their alien faces. "Your people succeeded," Zorl finally said, his voice quiet. "All of them survived. How is this possible?" "This is what humans do," Tai explained simply. "On our death world, we learned long ago that we survive together or not at all." Science Director Meal approached him, studying Ta with new eyes. "The Vorax have destroyed 3 civilizations. No one has ever rescued their captives before. Then perhaps those civilizations needed Deathworlders as allies," Ta suggested. As the aliens continued to watch the screen, showing human soldiers gently helping the rescued researchers into medical beds, Meal turned to Zorl. "We need to reconsider our assessment of humans," he said quietly. "They're not just dangerous. They're something we've never seen before." What none of them knew yet was that the rescue mission had revealed something troubling. The Vorax weren't randomly expanding. They were organizing for a coordinated attack on Concord space. And now, they had seen what humans could do. The galaxy was about to change forever. The main meeting hall of the Concord station was filled to capacity. Representatives from all 17 member species sat in rows that rose like steps around a central platform. On that platform stood Captain Jun Kim, Ambassador Ta Park, and the 12 researchers who had been rescued from the Vorax. "We owe our lives to the humans," said lead researcher Nima, a tall, thin alien with pale skin that seemed to glow softly. "When the Vorax attacked our ship, we thought we would die. No one comes back from Vorax capture. No one ever has. Until now." The Concord Council leader, an ancient being named Voss, whose species resembled a cross between an octopus and a tree, raised one of his many limbs. "We acknowledge the bravery of the humans," Voss said, his voice deep and slow. "But this action, while impressive, has created a new problem. The Vorax now know about humans. They will be interested in you." June stepped forward. "We didn't come here to talk about the rescue. We came to discuss what we found on the research ship." He nodded to Jai Choi, who touched a control on his wrist device. Above the platform, a large hologram appeared, showing star maps and strange symbols. "These are Vorax communication signals we captured during the rescue," Jai explained. "Our computers have been working to decode them. What we found is disturbing." Tai continued, "The Vorax aren't just random hunters. They're organizing for a major attack on Concord space. And based on the data we recovered, they specifically targeted that research station because it contained information about Earth." A wave of murmurs spread through the hall. Voss raised several limbs, calling for silence. "How could you possibly decode Vorax communication so quickly?" asked Science Director Meal. "We have studied them for centuries with limited success." "Pattern recognition is a human specialty," Jai replied. "Your translation software helped us understand the basic structure." "The point," Jones said firmly, "is that the Vorax are coming. Not just for the Concord, but for Earth too. We need to prepare." Council leader Voss wrapped his limbs around his center body, a gesture that Ta had learned meant deep thought. "Captain Kim, for thousands of years, the Concord has managed the Vorax threat through containment. We surrender outer systems when necessary. We avoid direct conflict. This strategy has kept the majority of our world safe." "At the cost of how many lives?" June asked, his voice rising slightly. "How many worlds have you abandoned?" 17 worlds in the past millennium," answered Voss without emotion. "Approximately 12 billion sentient beings. It is regrettable, but necessary for the survival of the whole." The humans looked at each other in shock. Ambassador Ta struggled to keep his face neutral, but his hands tightened into fists at his sides. "That approach won't work for humans," Ta said carefully. "We will not abandon Earth." "You may have no choice," said Meal. "The Vorax cannot be defeated only avoided. With respect, Jum said, "You don't know that. You've never truly fought them." "And you suggest we should?" asked Zoril, his blue skin paling. "The Concord is not built for war, Captain Kim. Most of our species evolved as cooperators, not predators. We lack your capacity for violence." "We're not suggesting you fight like humans," Tai explained. "We're suggesting you allow humans to fight for you. For all of us." The council chamber grew quiet as the representatives considered this idea. Many seemed uncomfortable, while others looked thoughtful. "You are one small world," said Voss finally. "Your technology is less advanced than ours. Your fleet is tiny compared to what the Vorax can bring. How could you possibly succeed where the combined Concord has never attempted to?" Before Jum could answer, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Red lights flashed, and the holographic displays changed to show emergency warnings. A Concord officer rushed into the chamber. "Council leader, we've received reports of simultaneous Vorax attacks on 3 Concord worlds, Billeri, Thosian, and 10 Prime." The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives jumped to their feet, shouting questions and demands. Some were calling families on their home worlds, their faces showing fear as they received news. "Silence," roared Voss, using a voice amplifier that made the walls vibrate. When the room quieted, he turned to the officer. "Casualties. Early reports suggest millions already dead on each world," the officer replied, his voice shaking. "The attacks are continuing. The Vorax fleets are larger than any we've recorded before." Jum turned to Ta. "This is it. They're starting their major offensive." Ta nodded grimly. "And sooner than we expected." The council leader was conferring with other senior representatives, all speaking quickly in hushed tones. Jum could see the panic in their movements, the hesitation in their planning. At that moment, Jum's communicator beeped with an incoming message from Earth. As he read it, his expression changed from concern to determination. "Ambassador Park," he said quietly, "Earth has been monitoring our communications. They've received our reports about the Vorax. The Defense Council has voted." Ta looked at him, understanding what was coming. Already, it was unanimous. June turned to address the still chaotic Concord Council. He didn't shout, but somehow his voice carried through the noise. "Representatives of the Concord, I have just received a message from Earth's Defense Council." Gradually, the aliens fell silent, turning to look at the human captain. "By unanimous vote of the Earth Defense Council, we hereby declare a state of total war against the Vorax Collective. All human military assets are mobilizing. We request Concord cooperation, but will proceed regardless. Earth stands with you." The silence that followed was complete. The alien representatives stared at June as if he had announced he could fly. "You cannot be serious," Zoril finally said. "Your leaders have known about the Vorax for less than 2 days. How could they possibly make such a momentous decision so quickly?" Jin Park, a human military advisor who had been standing quietly at the back of the platform, stepped forward. "You don't understand," he said. "Humans have been preparing for alien invasions since before we had spacecraft. This scenario is in our literature, our games, our military simulations. We've been mentally ready for this moment for centuries." "But a declaration of war?" asked Meal, his gold-spotted skin looking pale. "The decision to engage in full conflict should take months of debate, analysis, planning." "Not for humans," Tai explained. "When a threat is clear, we act. Earth's entire military history has taught us that hesitation costs lives." June looked at the emergency displays showing the attacks on the 3 Concord worlds. "Every minute we waste in discussion, more of your people die. Earth is sending our fleet. Will the Concord join us, or will you continue to retreat until there's nowhere left to run?" Council leader Voss floated forward, his many limbs moving slowly. He studied June's face for a long moment before speaking. "In all the history of the Concord, we have never allied with a warrior species, Many fear what unleashing Deathworlders might mean for the galaxy's future. What future will there be if the Vorax consume everything? June asked simply. Voss turned to the council. The humans offer their strength in our defense. Do we accept? The vote was not unanimous. Many representatives still feared humans almost as much as they feared the Vorax. But as reports of the attacks grew worse, enough voted yes. Very well, Voss announced. For the first time in our history, the Concord will fight alongside an ally in direct conflict with the Vorax. As the representatives dispersed to contact their worlds, Ty turned to June. This changes everything, he said quietly. The Concord has lived in fear for millennia. Fear of the Vorax, and now fear of us. We need to show them there's another way. We will, June promised. But first, we need to win this war. Back on the Horizon Asterisk, Commander He-Yun was already preparing the ship for combat. Messages from Earth reported that the human fleet would arrive in 3 days. It wasn't a large fleet by Concord standards, just 75 warships. But they carried something the Vorax had never faced before. They carried humans who had evolved on a death world, who had spent their entire history learning how to fight and survive against impossible odds. And now, they were coming. 3 days after Earth's declaration of war, the human fleet arrived at the edge of Concord space. 75 warships, led by the massive battleship Defiance under the command of Admiral Minsong. They were not the largest vessels the galaxy had seen, but they carried something no alien fleet ever had: thousands of humans ready for battle. On board the Defiance Admiral Min stood on the bridge, studying the tactical displays. She was a short woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. For 30 years, she had served in Earth's defense forces, training for a moment she wasn't sure would ever come. "Status report," she commanded. "All ships report ready, Admiral," answered her second-in-command. "The Concord representatives have arrived in Shuttle Bay 3. Good. Have them brought to the war room. It's time they learn how humans fight." In the war room, a large circular chamber dominated by a holographic display of the contested star systems, Admiral Min met with the Concord military liaisons. Chief among them was Commander Trell, a veteran of the Concord's limited conflicts with the Vorax. "Your fleet is smaller than we expected," Trell said. He belonged to a species that resembled large insects, with compound eyes that reflected the hologram's light. "It's not the size that matters," Min replied with a small smile. "It's how you use it." The human officers in the room tried not to laugh, but a few couldn't help grinning. The joke was lost on the aliens. "The Vorax have thousands of ships," Trell continued. "They have already taken half of the Billari system and are pushing into Thosian. Our defense forces are retreating in order." "Show me your current strategy," Min requested. Trell manipulated the hologram to show the Concord ships forming defensive lines around key planets. "We hold them back as long as possible, evacuate who we can, then fall back to the next defensive line." Min studied the display, then shook her head. "This is why you've been losing for thousands of years. You're always reacting, never attacking. With respect, Admiral, the Vorax overwhelm any direct assault with sheer numbers." "Numbers aren't everything," Min said. She touched the controls, and the hologram changed to show a new formation. "This is how we'll fight." Instead of defensive lines, the human plan showed strike forces pushing deep into Vorax territory, targeting specific points. "You want to attack directly into their strongest positions." Trell's compound eyes widened in what might have been shock. "This is suicide." "This is how you win a war," Min corrected. "The Vorax are a hive mind. Cut off the head and the body dies. Our intelligence suggests their command centers are here, here, and here." She pointed to 3 locations behind the Vorax front lines. "How could you possibly know this? We've studied the Vorax for centuries. Sometimes fresh eyes see what familiar ones miss," Min said simply. Your ships will support our main assault by holding the defense lines, just as you planned. But my fleet will punch through to hit their command centers directly." The Concord representatives looked at each other, clearly uncomfortable with the plan. But after their recent losses, they were desperate enough to try anything. "Very well," Trell finally agreed. "We will follow your lead, Admiral. The Concord forces await your command." The battle for the Bilari system began the next day. The Vorax had not expected a direct attack. For thousands of years, the Concord had only fought defensively, retreating whenever pressed too hard. But the human fleet didn't retreat. They accelerated directly toward the heart of the Vorax forces. On the Defiance Admiral Min watched as her ships formed the spearhead formation they had practiced countless times in simulations. "All ships, execute attack pattern hammer and anvil," she ordered. "Squadrons 1 through 5, target the Vorax command ship." The human warships moved with perfect coordination, their weapons firing in synchronized volleys that overwhelmed the Vorax shields. Where Concord ships would have fired methodically at maximum range, human captains drove their vessels dangerously close, unleashing devastating short-range attacks before twisting away. "The Vorax are adjusting their formation," reported Min's tactical officer. "They're trying to surround us." "Just as we expected," Min smiled. "Spring the trap. Squadrons 6 through 10, reveal yourselves." From behind a nearby moon, 5 more human warships appeared, catching the Vorax in a pincer movement. The aliens had never faced this kind of aggressive, unpredictable combat style. Their hive mind worked well for coordinated attacks, but struggled to adapt to human battle tactics that changed minute by minute. On the Concord command station, the alien leaders watched in amazement. "They fight like nothing we've ever seen, Voss," the council leader said quietly. "So aggressive, yet so precise." "They're enjoying it," noted Zorol with a hint of fear in his voice. "Look at how they communicate during battle. There's excitement in their voices." "We're not enjoying it," explained Ambassador Todd, who stood nearby. "But humans perform at their best when facing extreme challenges. It's how we evolved. Every human alive today is descended from ancestors who refused to surrender when death seemed certain." On the screens, they could see human soldiers boarding captured Vorax vessels. While Concord troops had always avoided close combat with the physically superior Vorax, humans met them head-on. The aliens watched in shock as human marines fought hand-to-hand with creatures twice their size, using both advanced weapons and, when necessary, their bare hands. "Your people are terrifying," Meal said to Tai, his spotted skin pale. "Only to our enemies," Tai replied. "To our friends, we're the best allies you could ask for." For 3 weeks, the war raged across multiple star systems. The human fleet suffered losses, but far fewer than the Concord had predicted. Admiral Min's strategy of targeting Vorax command centers proved devastatingly effective. Without central control, the worker drones became disorganized and easy to defeat. The Vorax, accustomed to facing the cautious Concord, had no defense against humanity's aggressive tactics. Human soldiers could endure conditions that killed Concord troops. Human minds could process battlefield chaos that overwhelmed alien strategic computers. And perhaps most importantly, humans never gave up. When ships were damaged, they made repairs under fire rather than retreating. When outposts were surrounded, they fought until relief arrived. The concept of surrender simply didn't exist in the human battle plan. By the end of the 4th week, the tide had turned completely. The Vorax were in full retreat, their hive mind fractured by the loss of so many command centers. Admiral Min stood on the bridge of the Defiance watching as the last major Vorax fleet fled from Concord space. "Shall we pursue, Admiral?" asked her second-in-command. Min considered for a moment, then shook her head. "No. We've achieved our objective. The Concord worlds are safe, and we've taught the Vorax a lesson they won't forget. Send word to all ships. Stand down from combat status. The war is won." 1 month later, in the Grand Council chamber on the Concord central world of Harmonium, A ceremony took place that would change the course of galactic history. Representatives from all 17 Concord species gathered to witness as humans became the 18th member. Captain Jung Kim, now promoted to admiral, stood beside Ambassador Topark as council leader Voss presented them with the formal admission document. For 10,000 years, the Concord has lived in fear of the Vorax, Voss said, his voice carrying through the massive hall. In 1 month, our human allies did what we thought impossible. They broke the Vorax hive mind and secured our borders. He turned to June and Ta. We once classified Earth as a Class 12 death world, and humans as potentially dangerous. Today, we reclassify humans as essential allies and protectors of peace. Tai accepted the document with a slight bow. Humans are honored to join the Concord. We look forward to sharing knowledge, culture, and friendship with all your worlds. And protection, added June with a smile. Remember, if trouble comes again, Earth answers when called. As the ceremony concluded, Science Director Meal approached Ta privately. There is something I must ask, he said, his gold-spotted skin gleaming under the lights. Many of us still don't understand why humans fought so hard for people you barely knew. Tai thought for a moment before answering. What you call Deathworlders, we call survivors. Humanity learned long ago that the universe doesn't care if we live or die. We decided to live, and we extend that same protection to our friends. In the years that followed, a new protocol was established throughout Concord space. At the first sign of danger, send a distress call to Earth. The Deathworlders would come.